Hi, and welcome to Geno's Picks. As always, brought to you by the awesome people at the SBRforum.com. Log on, read my daily blog, go crazy. In the meantime, let's talk about it. Last week, 3-3. And this is as good a time as any to explain to the SBR Forum folks why 3-3. Because we had the Bills getting 3, but come kickoff, it was 3.5. So we cover that because Geno's Picks, unlike you brilliant people at SBR Forum that crunch numbers, we can't do that. We let the joke make the picks. So whatever it is, that's the line. That's why 2 weeks ago, even though the video said the Jets were getting 9, by kickoff they were only getting 7.5, they didn't cover. We didn't push, we lost that game. So 3-3 last week, 13-18 overall, 42%, but we're working our way back. We've been hot lately, so let's get right to the picks. But first, you know what really grinds my gears? Brandon Marshall, people. Not that he blew our cover friggin' Monday night, but he's so selfish and self-centered and such a punk that he was more worried about his tweet of kicking ass and beating people up and getting thrown out than winning the game, okay? First ball thrown to him, instead of running the slant and getting 30 yards, turns to stiff-arm Darrelle Revis, slams into the ground. They have to punt the next play. What happens next? He's trying to push Darrelle Revis over. Darrelle pushes him over. He falls down. Darrelle Revis falls down in the other end zone 100 yards and 6 points later. Runs out of bounds. He's a friggin' idiot. He cost him the game, and I'm not making excuses because his quarterback, Matt Moore, sucks, but he's a jerk. He deserves everything he gets. And hey, Miami, maybe your quarterback should be his wife, because in the past year, she's the only one that's been able to get anything to stick in Brandon Marshall's gut. He's a punk. Let's get to the picks. My first pick, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are at home, and they're still getting a point from the Bears. And what's weird is this line opened up with the Bears actually getting 1.5. Now it's swung 2.5 points. I love Tampa Bay here. I don't get this. Yes, the Bears just beat up on the Vikings, but they beat up on the Vikings, who are our team in disarray. They switched quarterbacks halfway through. We'll talk about that more later. The Bears are still the Bears, and they're a very suspect team, and their offensive line is terrible. How bad is their offensive line? Let me tell you something. Quarterback Jay Cutler sees less protection on a daily basis than you'll find at the after-prom party at a Puerto Rican high school. Yeah, not a lot of protection there. And like Jay Cutler, those kids are also getting screwed. People, I love the Bucs here. Take the Bucs and the point. My next pick, the Steelers are giving 3.5 to the Cardinals in Arizona. Yes, the Steelers didn't cover last week. They were up 17-0 at half, but only ended up winning 17-13. But I understand why. You know why? Because if you ask me for a good match for the Steelers, I would say the Jaguars. They're a grinded-out team that plays tough defense and don't get blown out a lot. If you ask me for a good match for the Cardinals, I would say a train wreck. Yes, a train wreck. I know that's a horrifying picture, but when I Googled train wreck, there was actually something more horrifying. Yeah, that crazy bitch, Lindsay Lohan. The point is, the Cardinals are a terrible team, and Cobb is what we were afraid he would be. The Eagles' perennial backup, who when given the responsibility of being a starter, just can't seem to pull it off. And without Larry Fitzgerald, that team would be a mess. I love the Steelers by 3.5. And by the way, if you want one more match for Cardinals, how about this? The Cardinals of Stanford, Andrew Luck. Yeah, Cards, that's probably going to be your pick this year because you're terrible. Take the Steelers, lay the 3.5. My next pick, the Pack, as of now, are giving 9 to the Vikings in Minnesota. The Vikings stink. Christian Ponder was given the reins of the team this year because you've got to figure out if he's good or they want Andrew Luck. And let's face it, the Pack, even though they did cover against the Rams last week, friggin' Aaron Rodgers is so good, he said, I was disappointed with the output, okay? So they're going to be explosive. And yes, I know Christian Ponder came out and said today, he's like, I learned a lot from Donovan McNabb. Yeah, exactly. He learned a lot because after every snap, Frazier would lean over and say, don't do this. Exactly, people. Let me tell you something. The Packers are going to kill the Vikings. Take the Pack. And by the way, if the Vikings jump out to an early lead, don't be afraid, because the Vikings have blown more leads than Jenna Jameson. Huh? People, take the Packers, lay the 9. Which brings me to my lock of the week. See, these pictures just keep coming and coming. My beloved Bolts are giving to the Jets in New Jersey this week. All right, look, I get it. Rex Ryan's like, oh, he's trying to create controversy. How come we're not favored in this game? We're at home. Don't try the bravado, Rex. And I know, I get it, people. The Jets make the Chargers their bitch every year in the playoffs. But let me tell you something. The Chargers' trip through the playoffs is like a commuter flight. It's a short, bumpy ride that ends with people screaming, "Coach sucks." Yeah, but this isn't the playoffs. This is the regular season. And the Chargers know what they're doing, and they're thrilled to have gotten out of September with 4 wins. They're going to beat up on the Jets, who, let's face it, even in the win this past Monday and the short rest run, Sanchez took a step back. And maybe it's my fault. Maybe I don't have enough faith in the Chargers and Norv, because I always show pictures of Norv like this one, or this one. Or my favorite, this one. Well, today, we're going to show you a good picture of Norv when I say, take the Chargers, lay the 2. Which brings me to my Double Your Money Monday Night Bet, or as I like to call it, Jesus, Gena's bound to hit one of these in October. The Ravens are giving 7.5 to the Jaguars in Jacksonville. The Jaguars stink. And here's the difference between the Steelers and the Ravens. The Ravens like beating the crap out of people, and I think that's what they're going to do to the Jaguars. All right, Maurice Jones-Drew isn't doing well. And Blaine Gabbert, yahoo, way to learn the offense, but I don't expect a lot out of him. What I do expect a lot out of is my boy Anquan Bolden and my boy Joe Flacco. And how can we forget Ray Rice, people? Ray Rice leads the team in rushing, and he's second on the team in receiving. You know why? Because Ray Rice is responsible for catching more balls than Jenna Jameson. Let's face it, you want to see her, not me. Take the Ravens. Those are Geno's picks.